based on multiple conversations that I've had, it does seem like the most likely scenario is that Kelsey Plum would move on from the Aces.
My basketball mind, though, is still having a hard time wrapping my head around Kelsey leaving and going to an org like the Valkyries.
Remember when the Las Vegas Aces were unstoppable? Yeah, those days are over. The once mighty Dynasty is crumbling faster than a sandcastle at high tide, and it's all starting with Kelsey Plum packing her bags.
It's been a little surprising, and I think why there's so much conversation, at least from what I'm seeing, about Kelsey Plum is that during the season when the rest of the core Aces, the other, they're the core four, Asia, Chelsea, Jackie Young, and Kelsey Plum. So when her other three, counterparts, they signed extensions, she did not.
But wait, there's more. Asia Wilson is fuming. Coach Becky Hammond is losing it. And the rest of the league is licking their chops. You're about to witness the fall of an empire. And trust me, you don't want to miss a second of this. Are you ready? Let's go.
You mentioned that she did not sign an extension, and former general manager Natalie Williams told me before she and the Aces parted ways that, Kelsey was offered an extension and declined.
You know what's worse than losing a game, losing your star player, and that's exactly what's happening to the Aces right now. Kelsey Plum, the sharpshooter, who's been lighting up scoreboards, is eyeing the exit. But here's the thing, it's not just about basketball. There's something brewing in that locker room, and it's not team spirit.
Comes to somebody like Kelsey Plum, she's coming off a difficult personal year, and she's emphasized that she wants to take time for herself, which is why she said that she pulled out of Unrivaled. So we're not necessarily in the position to, with respect to what she said, to ask her directly, and that would be the best indicator here. But of course, you mentioned my reporting, I can pull and cite a few quotes that kind of imply that, the same way that Satu said that she's working with the Dallas organization, that's been the implication, that the Aces are working to find a situation where, quote unquote, everybody's happy, which is exactly what Becky Hammond said to me about a month ago in regards to Plum's situation.
Let's break it down. Plum Stats last year are fire. We're talking 17, 8 points per game and 4. 2 assists. She's hitting 42% from the field and 36. 8% from beyond the arc. On paper, she's a coach's dream, but in reality, it's more like a nightmare. Remember that heated exchange between Plum and Coach Hammond during the playoffs. Yet it wasn't just a one-time thing. It was like watching a pressure cooker explode. Hammond was fuming, calling out Plum's performance and the team's effort. And Plum, well, she wasn't exactly smiling and nodding.
Also, I think she made the statement, something along the lines like, it's just not, we're not going to look the same that we've looked in the past, right? Which makes total sense, right? Again, as I just said, you kind of in your mind have this idea that teams are always going to look the way they look, and the reality is that's just not possible.
The statement, something on the lines like it's just not, like we're not going to look the same that we've looked in the past, right? Which makes total sense, right? Again, as I just said, you kind of in your mind have this idea that teams are always going to look the way they look, and the reality is that's just not possible. But wait, there's more. Of that playoff game against the New York Liberty, Plum scored a measly 6 points, shooting 2 for 9. Ouch, it's like she forgot how to play basketball overnight, or maybe there's more to the story.
I do think is interesting is that there is a team that will be coming to the league this year, the Golden State Valkyries, and a part of me just kind of feels like that might be a fresh start for Kelsey Plum if she does decide that she wants to move on from the Aces. To me, it gives them an opportunity to have a great perimeter scorer, which we know that Kelsey Plum is, but it also will add a little bit of familiarity for her because the new head coach was the former assistant coach in Las Vegas, and I think that that could also be something that plays well where you're getting a new environment and you're getting a new experience, but you're also still working with someone who knows you and knows you well, so you get a bit of the best of both worlds.
Now let's talk about where Plum might be headed. The Golden State Valkyries are chomping at the bit, and they've got a cool one. $2 million in cap space to play with. They're not just looking for any player. They want a star to build their team around. And guess who fits that bill?
Yeah, I definitely would not rule that out. Something that really stands out to me is that, Kelsey is a Southern California native, and San Francisco is, it's within the state. California is a large state, but it's still within the state. And I think that stands out. To me, that's the most intriguing destination for Kelsey. I totally understand the fit. You mentioned perimeter scoring for the Valkyries, and they'll absolutely need that. But I think also she brings this, veteran championship mentality that Natalie Nakaze Kelsey has emphasized that she wants to cultivate in the Golden State. And so to me, that would just be knock out of the park. And they have the room to do it. You know, they're just building their roster. Cap space is not going to be a problem. So that stands out to me, definitely.
But it gets even juicier. The Valkyries head coach Natalie Naka's used to be an assistant coach. With the Aces, you know what that means. She and Plum have good history. Apparently, it's like a reunion tour waiting to happen.
She and Natalie were really close. Like, I remember the first conversation I had with Natalie Nakaze, she was telling me that she spent the whole offseason doing Pilates with Kelsey Plum because Kelsey had roped her into it. And they were waking up at like 6 a.m. together to go to these Pilates sessions. And I remember telling Natalie, like, that is something I would never do. I could never, like, wake up that early. And she's like, well, you should. Like, you should consider it. Kelsey has, like, changed my life.
Now you might be thinking, but what about the Aces? Surely they won't let her go that easily. Well, here's where it gets interesting. Plum didn't sign an extension with the team, and there are loud whispers about a potential sign and trade deal. The Valkyries are in the mix, but so are the Chicago Sky. It's like a high-stakes game of musical chairs, and Plum's holding the best seat.
Actually, the context of the quote that Becky Hammond had given me, where she said, like, you know, Kelsey is very core to this organization. She's very important. And so, you know, we're giving her space to figure out what she needs for herself. But we also want to make sure that we as an organization are in a good position.
Remember when A'ja Wilson was all about team first and loyalty? Well, those words are starting to sound pretty hollow. Right about now, the self-proclaimed queen of the Aces is watching her kingdom crumble, and let me tell you, she's not taking it well.
I just have a very hard time imagining the Las Vegas Aces without that core four. They were all drafted there, right? I mean, they were all drafted there. And so, I mean, look, as a Warriors fan, losing Klay Thompson, I can sort of relate to this, but that would be quite a blow for a team like Vegas. They came up together. They won 2 championships together.
You'd think with her MVP status, A'ja would be sitting pretty. But here's the reality. Those numbers aren't telling the whole story. Behind the scenes, things are getting messy, real messy.
This reminds me a lot of you. Like, it's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. And, like, it's just her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a...
Picture this as the playoffs tensions are high. And what does A'ja do? She gets into a heated exchange with Kelsey Plum. Now we've all had our moments. But questioning your teammates' commitment in the middle of a crucial series, that's a whole new level of yikes.
I understand that there could be personal reasons, but you're coming from a top-notch organization in Vegas, and Joe Lacob, as the owner for the Valkyries, he's setting them up nicely to begin. They're going to have the facilities, they're going to have all the things. But even if you just bring Kelsey Plum to the team that they have right now.
But wait, there's more. A'ja's been venting her frustration. And it's not just about Plum. She's calling out the entire team. We need to be better. She says we can't just rely on 1 or 2 players to carry us. Everyone needs to step up. Sounds reasonable, right? Except when you're the one saying it while your own leadership is under fire.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate, because that's how I get the best out of my team.
Let's be real for a second. A'ja's passion, unquestionable, her drive, undeniable. But her approach, that's where things get dicey. Some of her teammates are all for her high-energy, demanding style. Others not so much. It's like walking on eggshells in that locker room. And guess who's wearing the heaviest boots?
But also it goes hand in hand. That's it. And if I get fined for this, I'm terribly sorry, but it's ridiculous. We've been going through this all season, so everybody got to their job.
You know what they say about pressure creating diamonds? Well, it can also crack foundations. And right now, the Aces foundation is looking shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake. A's frustration isn't just about losing games or even losing players. It's about losing control. And for someone who's been the face of the franchise, that's a bitter pill to swallow. Here's the thing. A'ja's reaction to all this turmoil isn't just about her. It's a symptom of a bigger problem the Aces have been riding. High on their own hype for so long, they forgot that pride comes before a fall, and boy, are they falling hard.
Be able to get Kelsey Plum, and to your point, Callie, they have the cap space in the room to attract some really good free agents in this free agent period. So I'm not putting it past anybody to go for it and go for it immediately.
But hold on to your seats, because this roller coaster isn't over yet. Coach Becky Hammond's been watching all this drama unfold, and she's about to drop a truth bomb that'll make A'ja's meltdown look like a minor tantrum.
something else interesting to me is that the Aces seem like they have a lot of decisions to make. And they haven't replaced their GM. And I was reading, your reporting, and I saw all this, we're making decisions by committee, which I found curious. How long is that gonna go on for?
You know that feeling when you're watching a car crash in slow motion. That's pretty much what's happening with the Las Vegas Aces right now. And Coach Becky Hammond is in the driver's seat desperately trying to hit the brakes.
I spoke to Becky last month. It was unclear. I requested to interview Natalie Williams recently, and the Aces declined. So obviously this is something that they don't want to talk about right now. But to me, it seems quite unlikely that they're going to even make a hire. And I know that it feels like they're trying to leave that up in the air. That's what Becky Hammond tried to, I think, imply. And when I've spoken to Nikki Fargas, team.
Remember when Hammond was popping champagne and basking in championship glory? Well, those days are long gone now. She's stuck playing referee to a team of divas who seem more interested in their Instagram followers than their free throw percentages.
The whole league has been pissed off for the last 8 months, and my players are in commercials and this and that and being freaking celebrities, and you get distracted.
Pissed off for the last 8 months, and my players are in commercials and this and that, and being freaking celebrities. And then you get distracted, let's be real, for a second. Hammond's not just mad, she's disappointed. And in the world of sports, that's like your mom telling you she expected better from you. It stings, doesn't it? But here's the kicker, Hammond's not wrong. She's watching her once cohesive team fall apart faster than a cheap pair of sneakers you'd think winning a championship would. Bring a team closer together, right? Wrong. For the Aces, it seems like success has gone to their heads faster than you can say Dynasty, and Hammond's not having it anymore.
Talked about Nala Nikaze leading the Golden State Valkyries, but then we also have Tyler Marsh gone to, take the helm at the Chicago Sky. No general manager. I'm told that the assistant coaching staff might not even be complete. We might hear of another hire soon, which is, I'm trying to kind of navigate in my mind how that would look, because right now they already have 3 assistants. So a lot is changing, and they also only have 6 players under contract for this upcoming.
Here's the thing, Hammond's frustration isn't just about losing games, it's about losing the very soul of her team. She's watching players who once bled for the game now more concerned with their brand deals and TV appearances. It's like they forgot their basketball players first, celebrity second.
They're unrestricted free agents. We've already talked about Kelsey Plum, but what about Tiffany Hayes and Alicia Clark and Sydney Colson? Those are people that, feel so important to this team, and all of that is kind of just in flux right now. So you would hope to see some decisions soon. I think that's what this time is all about.
But wait, there's more. Hammond's not just venting to the press or sulking in her office. She's dropping truth bombs that are shaking the very foundation of the Aces' empire after their playoff elimination. Yeah, that happened. Hammond hinted at a major shakeup coming for the 2025 season. In her own words, we have to get better. We have to really take a sharp look at ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, see our shortcomings, and then you got to make the moves necessary, whatever that means, to put the best product that we possibly can. It's not going to be the same group probably next year, just won't. And I'm sad about that because I really like that group. They were a pain in my ass. But I was a pain in their ass to talk about a reality check. Hammond's basically saying, look, I love you all, but this isn't working. It's like breaking up with someone because you love them too much to watch them self-destruct. Harsh, maybe necessary, absolutely guess. What this means for the Ace is a complete overhaul. We're talking new faces, new attitudes, and hopefully a return to what made them champions in the first place.
We have to get better. We have to really take a sharp look at ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, see our shortcomings, and then, you got to make the moves necessary, whatever that means, to put the best product that we possibly can. It's not going to be the same group probably next year. It just won't. And I'm sad about that because I really like that group. They're a pain in my ass, but I was a pain in their ass too.
But before you start feeling too sorry for Hammond, and the Aces, let's zoom out for a second while Vegas is dealing with their soap opera. Other teams are quietly building something special. Take the Indiana Fever. For example, they're not making headlines for locker room drama or Twitter beefs. Instead, they're methodically putting together a team that could dominate for years to come.
When Becky said she expected this team to look different, and you referenced that earlier, Tarika, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe not to see some of those players who, Callie just named. Maybe we don't see Alicia Clark back again, I don't know. It seems like Tiffany wants to return to the Aces, so we'll see about that. But there's some questions for them at the center spot, right? So like it's things like that I thought like it could look different. I did not expect the core four to change. I guess we'll see.
But wait, there's more. Age has been venting her frustration, and it's not just about Plum. She's calling out the entire team. We need to be better. She says we can't just rely on one or two players to carry us. Everyone needs to step up. Sounds reasonable, right? Except when you're the one saying it while your own leadership is under fire.